Your power bill might be 3 times what it is now. Your groceries, 30% more expensive, but your rent can fall by as much as half. Welcome to Puerto Rico, where the cost of living jolts you out of everything America led you to believe. Home prices jumped 71% in just 1 year in 2025. The average wage is $22,000, but this does not stop people from arriving. Why? The math doesn't work the way you would think. Today, we are spending every dollar you pay in Puerto Rico. Let's begin with housing, and this is where the story moves very quickly from simple to complicated. Renting in the capital, San Juan, ranges from $900 to $1,200 a month for a 1-bedroom in the city center. Go beyond the tourist areas, and that drops to $700 to $850. In smaller towns like Arecibo, one can rent a 3-bedroom apartment in the center of town for $1,050 a month. Outside the center, $675. That is cheaper than what many people pay for a studio in major cities in the United States. Renovated schoolhouses, seaside cottages, and farm properties are popular choices in the rental market in Puerto Rico, where living is about 52% cheaper than on the mainland United States. But there's a massive catch. The buying market is a different story. At $290,000, the median home sale price reached in Q1 of 2025. That's about a 32% increase from 1 year ago. In some areas, prices soared 71% from the previous year. What's driving this? 2 major forces. Rich mainland Americans are being lured to the island by tax incentives under Act 60, and short-term rentals are depleting housing stock at an alarming pace. Between 2014 and 2024, short-term rental units shot up from 1,000 to more than 25,000. The analysis found that every 10% increase in short-term rentals led to a 7% increase in median rent. And the government is mulling changes, such as raising the lodging tax to something between 9 and 11% from 7%, and finally, introducing a registry for every single vacation rental. Now, let's discuss what actually does set Puerto Rico apart from the mainland: utilities. Electricity is very expensive in Puerto Rico. The residential rates run 24 to 30 cents per kilowatt hour, compared to less than 17 cents nationally. That is why Puerto Ricans pay about 8% of their income for power, while mainlanders pay just 2.4% on average. Electric bills for the month usually fall somewhere between $175 and $225, but they can sneak up much higher. The rates are nearly double from 2020. Why? The power grid in Puerto Rico is possibly the worst in the United States. In 2017, Hurricane Maria decimated it, and only an anemic recovery has ensued. The island's dependence on imported fossil fuel is acute. It specializes in regular rolling blackouts that sweep different regions of the island at various times. On New Year's Eve 2024, the island was nearly 99% without power. These electrical blackouts may also last days, or in some extreme cases, weeks. The internet is $20 to $60 a month. Water and other utilities cost another $40 to $80. Total monthly utilities, including electricity, water, and internet, are usually $150 to $300. Well, now it's time to go grocery shopping and brace yourself. Food in Puerto Rico is 20 to 30% more expensive than the continental United States. Roughly 85% of the food is imported. The island boasts a sales tax rate of 11.5%, higher than any U.S. state. Here's what you'll actually pay. You will pay $4 to $7 per gallon for milk. That's nearly double mainland prices. Puerto Rican milk producers receive $40 per hundredweight, and the mainland average is $25.55. A dozen eggs will cost $3 to $5. A pound of cheese costs between $4 and $7. The price of bananas is 50 cents per pound. Plantains are 30 to 50 cents each. Pineapples cost $2 or $3 apiece. Inflation in food prices increased 3.4% in June 2025, compared with a year earlier. For families receiving federal food assistance through NAP, the struggle has become even more pronounced. Of benefits, NAP provides roughly half of the value of mainland SNAP. The average NAP benefit is $115 per person per month, while the corresponding figure for SNAP is $364 for a family of two. Dining out offers better value. The expense for a fast food restaurant lunch is $8 to $15. Meals for two in the middle range run from $20 to $80. Fancy dining now goes for over $50 per person. Cost of transport are a mixed picture. It's about $1 per liter or $3.50 a gallon for gas. Auto insurance bills amount to $800 to $1,300 a year for bare-bones protection. Public transport is very sparse in rural areas. The bus costs 75 cents to $1.50. Urban taxis are about $2 to $3 and $1.75 to $2 per kilometer. Uber is running in San Juan, but they will surge and a ride can push up to $80. Beyond the metro area, Uber seems to evaporate. Car rentals average $15 to $150 per day by vehicle and season. Demand spikes during peak season December to April. Drivers aged 24 and under have an extra daily charge of $15 to $25. Registering a car is about $300 plus $20 to $50 for an emissions test. Healthcare is uniquely complicated. Puerto Rico has two systems, public and private. The public system, called Vital, is essentially Puerto Rico's Medicaid program for low-income residents. Private healthcare is 30 to 50% more affordable than on the mainland. A trip to the doctor is $50 to $100. Specialist visits run $75 to $150. Here's the critical difference. If you are like most people, your Puerto Rico health insurance only offers emergency coverage on the mainland. They do not provide coverage for routine or elective care off the island. Some professionals prefer international health insurance policies. The bigger problem is systemic. Doctors and nurses make much less due to low reimbursement rates. Often, healthcare providers move to the mainland for higher pay, leading to shortages of specialists and long wait times. The best facilities are in the San Juan metro area. Outside metropolitan areas, options become scarce quickly. For citizens on Medicare, Puerto Ricans pay Medicare payroll taxes, but are left out of important benefits like the low-income subsidy in Part D of Medicare. Enrollment in Medicare Part B is not automatic either. Let's talk earnings versus costs. The average annual income for a Puerto Rican is $22,000. After taxes per month, it's an average of $2,557, $30,684 annually. Expats and mainland Americans working in Puerto Rico make an average of about $73,000 a year. Living expenses, not including rent, for one person range between $1,100 and $1,500 a month. A family of four requires approximately $3,800 monthly aside from rent. Now add housing, and a single man in San Juan will need around $2,000 to $2,800 per month. A standard family of four calls for between $4,500 and $5,500. At the median Puerto Rican salary, $1,833 a month affording basic necessities becomes next to impossible. The median after-tax pay lasts little more than 1.6 weeks of living expenses. This results in having two Puerto Ricos. Local families face soaring costs that are partly the product of wealthy mainland transplants taking advantage of tax incentives. How does Puerto Rico compare with other places? Compared to the mainland, Puerto Rico's total cost of living hovers at around 9% less. But that's misleading. Housing is 52% cheaper, but groceries, electricity, and foreign imports are much more expensive. In general, Puerto Rico is 10 to 20% cheaper than places like Texas or Florida. American restaurant prices are 33% higher. Grocery prices on the mainland are 17% higher. But it's going to cost you more for utilities and imported goods. The Puerto Rico experience is 9% less expensive than Orlando, 32% cheaper than Honolulu, but 10% pricier than San Antonio in some aspects. The future holds uncertainty. Mounting $346 billion in 2025, the island's real estate industry is expected to grow to $389 billion by 2900. Housing inventory remains tight. For a mid-tier build, construction costs are $300 to $500 per square foot. Limited developable land constrains supply. There have been efforts by government to rein in short-term rentals, which could change the equation. Energy infrastructure desperately needs improvement. A couple of examples. Puerto Rico's renewable goals are 40% by 2025, 60% by 2040, and 100% by 2050. It has been slow going, with only 6% coming from renewables in 22. The state's new governor appointed an energy czar to expedite modernization. So what's the bottom line? For affluent mainlanders with big salaries or tax incentives, the island offers a Caribbean lifestyle at less than a third of the cost in Hawaii or Miami. For locals making Puerto Rican wages, the math is unforgiving. Huge chunks of income go to groceries and utilities. The sweet spot for Puerto Rico is digital nomads, remote workers, and retirees with income from the mainland. You'll pay less for housing than in many great U.S. cities. Private services are cheaper for healthcare. There's year-round warmth, rich culture, and no passport necessary for Americans. The keys to making it work: have reliable income from elsewhere, budget for increased utility and grocery bills, understand healthcare limitations, and expect some headaches in infrastructure. Power cuts are common, but watch out where you do it, or else costs could be astronomical. Puerto Rico in 2025 is a land of contrasts. Here in paradise, the price of paradise is lower and higher than you'd think, depending on where you look.